Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela, and we are the Castros.
We bring you the news.
And the views that make you think.
Sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we don't.
This is News and Views.
And here are today's headlines.
Alias Totoy has lodged administrative complaints against 12 police officers allegedly involved in the disappearance of several sabongeros.
A Chinese vessel apparently destroyed coral reefs near Pag-asa Island in the West Philippine Sea.
The House prosecution team insists the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte followed proper procedures.
Strong Group Philippines remained unbeaten in the 2025 William Jones Cup after a strong second-half performance against the Japan developmental team.
First in the news, Alias Totoy has lodged administrative complaints against 12 police officers accused of involvement in the disappearance of several cockfight enthusiasts. He further alleges that these officers have links to killings connected to the Duterte administration's war on drugs. Here is the report.
Kahit sinong tao, pag ang pinag-usapan dito, pamilya, wala akong katatakutan sa kanila.
Julie Dondon Patidongan, also known as Totoy, could no longer hold back his emotions at the National Police Commission or Napalcom office in Quezon City. He formally filed administrative complaints against 12 retired and active police officers allegedly involved in the disappearance of several sabongeros. Among those named is Colonel Ryan J. Orapa. Totoy claimed that Orapa led the police group that abducted sabongeros and allegedly received 2 million pesos per month to carry out the operations.
Itong mga pulis na to, sila ang kumukuha ng mga missing sabongero galing sa farm. Sila ang nagdadala doon sa Taalik.
Totoy also named former NCRPO Chief Jonel Estomo, claiming that the official ordered his assassination.
Si General Estomo, siya ay membro ng ALPA. Si General Estomo, isa yan na nag-udyok kay Mr. Atong-ang na, boss, patayin mo na si Dondon Patidongan para matapos na yung problema mo na yan.
The officers named in Totoy's complaint were also allegedly involved in the Duterte administration's drug war. He insisted that no one is manipulating him to destroy the former administration or to falsely implicate Atong-ang, whom he identified as the mastermind. The Department of Justice has launched its own investigation into the possible connection between police involved in the drug war killings and the missing sabongeros.
I think that the death squads might intersect more on the death squads, the people who undertake the contractual killings, may intersect somehow with the drug war and with the isabong. Same, may mga taong parehong involved sa pagpatay ng tao sa drug war at sa isabong.
As of now, diving operations continue in Taal Lake in search of the bodies of the missing sabongeros. According to the DOJ, the case has grown stronger following the recovery of human bones. However, they emphasized that the process must not be rushed, as proper DNA procedures are essential to ensure accurate identification.
Tumitibay naman. At talagang hindi lang ganun kadali yung panahon pa ngayon. Tsaka nakita nyo naman yung mga nakuha nyong video, malabo talaga ang tubig, hindi ganun kadali maghanap.
Meanwhile, Napalcom Commissioner Attorney Rafael Calinisan confirmed that they are looking into the claim of Alias Totoy that some police officers allegedly involved in the missing sabongeros case were also linked to killings during the Duterte administration's war on drugs. He said killers continue to provide information on the sabongeros case. Calinisan added that the commission will first evaluate the affidavits filed before making any decisions. He also noted they aim to resolve the case in 60 days.
Yung aspetong yon is sinisilip din ng Napalcom. We are wearing two hats. One is the investigator's hat, which we have been doing so for the past couple of weeks. But the second hat I'm also wearing is that I will be one of those who will decide this case. Magkakasubukan ho tayo dito. A very complicated case. Hopefully, matapos po namin in 60 days. Kung pumalya kami ng konti, 70, 80 days, patawad po ng konti. Pero marching order po talaga natin dito 60 days.
A Chinese national was arrested at NAIA Terminal 3 on July 13 for allegedly using a fake Filipino identity to run a business in Metro Manila. The Bureau of Immigration identified the suspect as 43-year-old Wang Shujun, who arrived from Kuala Lumpur. Wang was allegedly posing as Kasia Palma Poliquit and operating an electric vehicle business using a Philippine passport and birth certificate issued through late registration. Fingerprint analysis by the National Bureau of Investigation confirmed she and Poliquit are the same person. She is currently detained by the BI pending deportation proceedings. The case has drawn comparisons to former Banban Mayor Alice Go, who was also found to be a Chinese national using a Filipino identity.
Now let's get the latest from the Immigration Bureau.
We have with us spokesperson Dana Sandoval joining us via phone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Magandang umaga.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I would just like to ask po, spokesano, how was the apprehension came into place? Ito po ba ay matagal nyo na pong minamanmanan? Meron po bang mga sources that led you to this apprehension?
Yes, it actually started with intelligence information that we got from NBI regarding the background of this individual. When we checked our records as well as the records that NBI was able to procure, we were able to see that the two identities presented, the Filipino identity and the Chinese identity in our records, yielded the same fingerprints. Parehas na parehas po yung fingerprints. So it was very blatant that it was very obvious that she is using the two identities. Apparently, this individual is an investor here in the Philippines and has been here for quite some time already, and we believe that she has been using the Philippine identity to be able to expand her businesses here in the metro.
So para linawin lang, spokes, no? In other words, very similar to the case of Alice Go, na hindi naman fake in documents. In other words, authentic in documents. It's just that may tao siguro sa loob ng nag-release ng birth certificates. Ganun po ba nangyari?
Very, very similar case as that of Alice Guo. And yung businesses niya dito in Metro Manila are not small businesses. She has big investments in the country. That's why we're worried na ito ay ginagamit for illegal transactions and illegal expansion of businesses. And who knows, it might even be used in espionage activities. That's why this is very, very concerning for us. The proliferation, the continued use of these fraudulently acquired documents to be able for foreign nationals to present themselves as Filipinos.
Could there be a one group that's connected to all of this, bringing them in, or foreigners into the country and faking their identity to set up shop?
It's possible, but we see that there might be several groups at the very least for activities like this, because we haven't seen just one source of these documents. Parang there are a lot of different sources of these kinds of documents. So we believe they might have some connections in different areas of the country for them to be able, kasi we've seen some in Mindanao, now we've seen in Northern Luzon, now we're seeing it in Metro Manila. So probably it's not just one group, but several different groups that have the same modus operandi.
Spokes, perhaps you could you tell us how long has she been in the Philippines? Yung kanyang birth certificate, kailan niya ito na-obtain? Ilang beses na siya in and out of the Philippines? At saka yung sa kanyang negosyo na nabanggit po ninyo kanina, siya po ay investor ng maraming mga negosyo dito. Have we also gotten in touch with other stakeholders para po malaman yung mga kanyang transactions?
She's been here in the Philippines for quite some time already, at least a couple of years. She's an investor here. Ang investment niya primarily is in the distribution of electric vehicles. So
Right.
this is, lalo nitong mga past few years, the distribution of electric vehicles has really grown massively dito sa Pilipinas. So she has siguro strong connections in different places. This individual have been in and out of the country. She has not used her Philippine passport pero nakitaan siya ng Philippine passport. Ang ginagamit niya is yung Chinese identity niya when going in and out of the country. And she's been staying here long term using an investor's visa.
Spokes, you mentioned the possibility of, you're looking into espionage. Are you looking at other possible people doing the same thing? Kasi parang, you can only see these things usually in the movies, di ba? May pumasok, nag-establish ng identity, naging mayor yung isa, tapos yung isa businesswoman, woman, good standing in the community. So, possibility na madami pang mga ganito?
Yes, ang malaking bagay ngayon is that different government agencies are looking into it already kasi we've been seeing this for a long time. We've been raising the information about this. Pero ngayon, mukhang nalagay na siya sa spotlight and different government agencies are already looking at the source. Kasi sa amin, kami in immigration, we look at the individual,
Yes.
but the investigation on the sources of these types of documents para mahuli the source of these ones are what's most important for this modus to stop. Kasi this is one too many already.
Yes, that's right.
This should not be happening at all. If we see one, it's already a problem. If we see so many people, one even became a mayor, it's a very concerning. It's very concerning already in terms of national security. That's why we're really thankful to our partners, lalo NBI, who has been very porsigido sa paghuli po in catching these sources, the sources of these types of documents.
Spokes, where is she right now? Where is she detained? Is she going to be deported right away? Or are you also looking at the possibility of filing cases muna against her? What is happening po?
Yes, sa atin, she is in our facility in Taguig. But right now, we're looking into other possible cases that may be filed against her by the NBI because this is not just a case of a misrepresentation
Right.
of an illegal alien. Patong-patong yan na cases that may be filed against her. Of course, she has falsified documents. She is probably, her businesses might be put in question already at baka may mga
Foreign
makita pa
ownership
na other
issues, diba?
violations in terms of local law.
Spokes, to
Yes, so yun po, we'll be waiting for that from the NBI, but as of now, umaandar yung kanyang deportation case.
may possibility ba, Spokes, also that we use her as a witness to point out kung sino sa Pilipinas ang may mga modus na ganito?
Yes, it's a possibility. NBI is on top of things in terms of investigating the sources of these documents. So we'll see. We'll play it by ear kung ano yung mga makuha na information from her and kung may mga susunod pa na ma-arrest following the information na makuha natin from her.
Well, taking this opportunity na rin, Spokes, to ask you regarding the updates on the other foreign nationals that are scheduled to be deported from away from our country, no? Ano na po yung update doon sa atin sa kanila?
Yes, there are more mass deportations that are going to be scheduled within the month or early next month. We're just finalizing the details. In the last few weeks, meron tayong big deportation, parang 100 plus yon na mass deportation. So we're expecting another batch in the next few weeks. We have gotten assistance from Pagcor in terms of the funds for booking itong flights nitong mga deportees natin. So malaking tulong yan for us to be able to decongest our facility, to make way for more arrests that will be coming in the next few weeks.
Pero spokes, a few months ago, I remember, may mga issues po na may mga nade-deport po tayo dito mula sa ating bansa. Tapos apparently hindi naman po sila tumutungo doon sa mga point of destination nila. Tumatakas sila at pupunta na sila sa ibang Asian countries. Kamusta po yung ganong issue, yung ganong balita? Meron pa rin po ba tayo mga ganon na tumatakas from our deportees?
Yes, nung ito ay ni-raise sa atin ng concerned individuals, this was discussed by the Board of Commissioners and they came into a ruling that foreign nationals who are deported due to illegal POGO or POGO-related work here in the Philippines should be deported back to their country of origin and not via any other transit flights. So we've established measures to prevent that from happening. Ngayon, directly dun sa mga country of origin nila na sila dinideport.
All right. With that, we will continue to get in touch with you regarding this issue. For the meantime, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras immigration spokesperson, Dana Sandoval.
Thank you. Good morning.
And we'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. A Chinese vessel anchor has left a trail of destruction beneath the Philippine waters. Here's the report.
At a depth of 9 meters, roughly equivalent to a 3-story building, a diving team from the Palawan Council for Sustainable Development discovered a piece of fabric wrapped around coral reefs near Pag-asa Island. According to the PCSD, the fabric is believed to be the canopy of a parachute-style anchor left behind by a Chinese maritime militia vessel, which had drifted near the island during rough weather on June 7. The canopy, the umbrella-like component of the parachute anchor, is designed to open in the water to slow down or stop a vessel. In a joint statement, the PCSD and the Philippine Coast Guard confirmed coral breakage and crushing, likely caused by the anchor being dragged by currents. The damage spans over 464 square meters, or about 30% of the reef area surveyed. Authorities are now preparing to demand over 11 million pesos in environmental damages from China.
The parachute itself is not an illegal act, no, but the misuse or the let's just say the incident that happened caused the dragging of the chute, no, so, and it's still causing damage up to now.
The Coast Guard says the Chinese vessel likely used the parachute anchor to avoid drifting after experiencing engine failure. But the problem now, the anchor and canopy have yet to be removed due to their sheer size. PCSD fears further reef destruction if the canopy remains.
The anchor parachute will continue to cover the corals, denying access to sunlight, of which without sunlight, the coral reef will die.
We tried to remove po yung parachute, pero it seems that a 6-man team of divers cannot do that without equipment.
As of now, China has yet to issue a statement on the matter. For News 5, Gio Robles, we are One News.
Lawmakers in the House are standing firm on the impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte, following a Supreme Court order requiring them to justify the proceedings. Mobile journalist Amy Atienza has the report.
In the House of Representatives, the fight to proceed with the impeachment trial continues. That is after the Supreme Court ordered the lower chamber to justify the impeachment process of Vice President Sara Duterte.
Very important po, over the weekend, nakita po natin yung Supreme Court resolution na humihingi po, actually requiring the House of Representatives to provide information relating to the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte.
House Prosecutor and Manila 3rd District Representative Joel Chua and Bicol Saro Party List Representative Terry Ridon urged the Supreme Court to dismiss the petitions, questioning the impeachment proceedings against VP Sara Duterte.
Subalit sana po, ang panawagan po namin ay sana ay maituloy na po ang impeachment trial dahil ito po ay maliwanag naman sa batas na kung ang impeachment complaint ay nakarating na sa Senado, dapat po ang sumunod na pong maging aksyon ay ang pag-proceed na po sa trial.
Again, i-reiterate po natin na malinaw po yung nangyari dito po sa impeachment proceedings ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Ang pinag-usapan mo natin dito, accountability sa usapin po ng paggamit ng confidential funds. Pinag-usapan mo natin dito, accountability dito po sa threats laban sa Pangulo, laban sa First Lady, laban po sa House Speaker.
However, Chua cleared that there should be nothing much to worry about in the Supreme Court's order. He is confident that the impeachment trial will proceed, though it will be best if the Supreme Court orders to begin the trial immediately to avoid issues of the one-year bar rule.
Well, unang-una, ako po ay maliwanag naman po yung hinihingi ng Supreme Court. Ito po ay parte ng pagre-resolba sa issue po na ibinato po sa kanila. At ito po mga hinihingi naman po ay may po-comply naman po namin sa House.
Despite not being part of the 19th Congress, Ridon stands with the lower chamber. The Bicol Saro representative also calls on the Senate.
Again, hindi po ito pwedeng gamitin ng Senate Impeachment Court na dahilan para hindi po magtuloy again doon sa kanilang pong constitutional mandate to try and decide the impeachment case of Vice President.
Mobile journalist Amy Achanza, we are One News.
Now let's get the latest from the House of Representatives. We have mobile journal Alias de los Santos reporting live from Batasan Pambansa in Quezon City.
Magandang araw, Angela at Diego. Nandito tayo ngayon sa House of Representatives kung saan ilang minuto na lamang ay magsisimula na nga ang press conference na pangungunahan ni Manila 6th District Representative Benny Abante. Alam nyo, ito ay 2 linggo matapos na maproklama siya na winner ng congressional race sa ika-6 na distrito ng Maynila. Alam nyo, coincidentally, si Benny Abante nga rin ang natitirang miyembro ng Quadcom noong nakaraang 19th Congress. Angela at Diego, ngayong araw ay wala pang nakukumpirma kung ano nga ba ang mga proposed measure na ihahain nitong ni Representative Benny Abante. Pero matatandaan natin na nitong mga nakaraang araw ay naging vocal siya sa pagpapatuloy ng investigasyon sa iba't ibang mga issue na natakil na o nahawakan na ng Quadcom sa nakaraang Kongreso. Kasama na nga dyan ang pag-aaral at patuloy na pagsilip sa regulasyon o operasyon ng Pogo sa Pilipinas. Dahil bagamat daw na ito ay naban na sa Pilipinas, nagdesisyon ang mga ito na mag-operate sa maliliit na pamamaraan. Bukod pa dyan, ay nais din nilang pagpukusan ang extrajudicial killing para daw mas magkaroon ng malinaw probisyon sa ating batas kung ano nga ba ang dapat at hindi dapat para na rin magpapahalaga sa buhay ng mga mamamayang Pilipino. Bukod pa dyan, Angela at Diego, ay inaasahan na mapag-uusapan din sa press conference na ito ang pag-ban, dahil nitong nakaraang araw ay kinumpirma ni Kong Benny Abante na magpa-file siya ng resolusyon ng panukala na maban ang online gambling sa Pilipinas, lalo na at napakadali daw ma-access ito ng mga normal na mamamayan, at kung iyan ay mangyari, makakasama siya sa listahan ng mga mambabatas na nag-file ng resolution para maban o ma-regulate ang online gambling. Ayan lamang sa ngayon.
Arles, meron ka bang information if it's yung version ni Kong Abante is to ban or to regulate?
Sa kanyang mga naging pahayag, Diego, naging firm naman siya na mag-profile siya ng resolution to ban.
Okay.
Ito actually ay not to regulate and actually write directly to Pag-asa and act on it as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember having him on the show last week, diba? He said that he is for
mulling
push
over
for
banning.
Total ban. But I was wondering also, Arlis, if you have any information, if he's also going to talk about the recent Supreme Court response doon sa impeachment complaint against VP Sara.
Sa ngayon, Angela, ay hindi pa natin makukumpirma yan, pero ayan ay isa sa ating mga inaasahan ngayong araw. Pero naging vocal din naman siya sa pagbubukas at pagpapatuloy ng ilang mga nasimulan ng 19th Congress sa pagpasok ng 20th Congress na ito.
Alright, aside from that, meron pa bang ibang nakaschedule na magkaroon ng press conference dyan ng mga uupong bagong congressman sa 20th Congress?
Sa usapan ng press conference, Angela, ay wala pa bukod kay Representative Benny Abante, pero kasama sa mga inaasahan natin na magpo-file ng kanyang mga panukalang batas sa araw na ito ay si Representative Gary.
Alright, maraming salamat sa iyong oras. That was our mobile journalist, Alias Totoy, reporting live from House of Representatives in Batasan, Quezon City. Now, speaking of online gambling, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas is set to implement tighter rules on digital payments for online gambling amid growing concerns over access by minors and vulnerable users. Under a draft circular, payment service providers or PSPs will be required to enforce spending limits, time restrictions, and facial biometric verification before processing gambling transactions. Users must set up a dedicated online gambling transaction account capped at 20% of their average daily balance and limited to 6 hours of activity per day. Loan features must be disabled and excessive use will automatically trigger a 24-hour cooldown period. Gambling operators must also meet strict licensing and anti-money laundering requirements to partner with financial institutions. Non-compliance, PSPs could face suspension or fines or up to 1 million pesos. Yun. Actually, recently nga, if I'm not mistaken, 2 days ago, nagkaroon na rin ng mga reports saying na pinapababa na yung mga billboards and signages along major highways itong mga promoting online gambling.
Alam ko yung Facebook kasi in YouTube, usually Facebook and Instagram, usually these are used to set up accounts and emails with mga ibang access to platforms. Ang problema, although 18 years old ang age limit, sometimes younger children, you could see, have their own accounts. So therefore, meron silang access din sa gambling platforms ito. So we can't even regulate the use of social media accounts na dapat sa 18 years old to its proper age. How do you prevent the younger generation from playing this? Kasi nakikita mo yan minsan if you you walk sa mall, tapos mapapaupo ka, may katabi kang mga mas bata sa'yo, mas bata sa akin, nakikita ko minsan naglalaro ng ganyan eh.
Yung mga scatter daw tawag nila.
Makikita mo yan.
But you can see also yung bilis, no? Yung speed ng impact nito sa society natin because of its being accessible. Diba? Even in the far-flung areas, basta may mga cellphone, may internet connection, busy sila sa paggamit nitong mga to. Dahil very easy. Tapos yung mga, yung tinataya nila sobrang mura. Kaya ito ang BSP are trying to say nga kanina dun sa report, mag-cap ng 20% dun sa limit ng kanilang balance sa wallet nila. And also, yung feature na magko-cool down ka pag nakita nilang sunod-sunod yung activities mo doon sa online gambling.
Dati, I remember I did some research long time ago. Kasi parang sa akin, why do you, for example, sa Hong Kong or kaya sa US, sa Las Vegas, legal ang gambling, other states hindi. Sa Hong Kong, bawal ang gambling. But you wanna gamble, you go to Macau. So bakit meron silang nilalagay na zones na pwede gambling, sa iba hindi? Parang sabi ko noon, parang it defeats the purpose. Pero pala, ang psychological thinking behind it is, if you have the urge pala, any urge to spend or to do anything, yung urge nyo nawawala, nag-dissipate after 45 minutes to 3 hours. So, kung linalayo mo or may specific place lang for gambling, kunyari, gusto ko tumaya ngayon, taga Hong Kong ako, sige, babiyahe ako tang Macau, I'll gamble. Pagdating ko ng Macau, baka nang iba na isip ko. Kaya nga dito, ang problema ng online,
wala, you don't have to get out of your house.
At saka may ads ka pa.
Oo, hindi ka na kailangan magbihis pa para lumabas at para
mag-gamble. May online ads pa, pop ng pop eh. Alam niya kung mahilig ka sa ganyan labas siya ng labas eh.
And we've seen a lot of stories from our different reports, di ba? Saying na yung mga nagastos nila, yung mga pinambili nila, mga pangbayad nila ng bills nila, nagastos nila kasi nag-online gambles. And hindi talaga maganda yung dinudulot nito sa society.
Alright, in other news, Philippine and French officials celebrate Bastille Day or the French National Day, marking another year of shared friendship and commitment. The details in this report by Mobile Journal, JF Rivera.
Another year of camaraderie and shared history as the Embassy of France to the Philippines and Micronesia celebrate Bastille Day or French National Day at Fairmont, Makati last Monday, July 14. The program opened with a cultural presentation by the Centro Escolar University or CEU folk dance group. This was followed by the national anthems of France and the Philippines performed by the Far Eastern University Chorale. The French ambassador to the Philippines, Marie Fontanelle, warmly welcomed guests and delivered her opening remarks.
I'm delighted and honored to welcome you tonight to celebrate our National Day. On July 14th, also known indeed as Bastille Day, we celebrate our history and our Republican values.
Ambassador Fontanelle also shared her Filipino language skills, adding a personal touch to her speech.
Maligayang pagdating dito sa ating lukhaw na pagdiriwang. Isang pagtitipon para sa kahagatan. You'll have to pardon my Tagalog, right?
Undersecretary Helen de la Vega represented the Department of Foreign Affairs and officially opened the program. She highlights the strong ties between France and expressing gratitude for their support, particularly on issues concerning the West Philippine Sea.
We must protect these waters and its resources to sustain our communities and our way of life now more than ever. We appreciate France's consistent support for the 2016 Arbitral Award on the South China Sea, which forms an important pillar of the rules-based international order that governs the peace nations not just on land but also at sea.
As the program wrapped up, the after-party kicked off. Both Filipino and French guests were enjoying the music and dancing to the beats. Bastille Day, or French National Day, is a day to celebrate liberty, equality, and fraternity, values that remain at the heart of France.
Thank you and mabuhay. Cheers.
Mobile journalist JF Rivera, we are One News.
Don't go away because we're not done yet. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on One News.
Pag-asa is monitoring a tropical depression located outside the Philippine Area of Responsibility o PAR. It was last spotted 1,925 kilometers east-northeast of extreme northern Luzon. It has no direct impact on any part of the country. Meanwhile, the southwest monsoon continues to affect several areas. Cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms are expected over western Visayas, central Visayas, the Negros Island region, Zamboanga Peninsula, northern Mindanao, Caraga, Davao region, Occidental Mindoro, Romblon, Palawan, and southern Leyte. Metro Manila and the rest of the country will experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms.
The Department of Education will implement a new policy mandating a shift to alternative learning modalities once Typhoon Signal number 2 is raised. And to provide us insights into this and other related matters, we have Pasig City Representative Roman Romulo. Congressman, thank you for joining us again.
Yes, good morning, Angelo, Angela. Good morning, and to all your viewers. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Of course, Congressman, I'd like to get your thoughts on the DepEd's new policy to shift to alternative learning right when it hits signal number 2. Kasi ang reklamo daw ng iba, bakit pag signal number 2 lang? Bakit wala sa thunderstorm advisory or sa rainfall warning?
Yes, iba yun, no, Angelo. Meron sila for wind, which is the typhoon cyclone wind signal. Yun yung,
right.
Yun yung numbers. Yun yung 1, 2, and 3. So more or less sa ano talaga yun sa wind, I guess sa wind yun. Pag 1, they leave it up to the local government unit and to the SDS and the principals to be the ones to make that judgment. Pag umabot ng 2, then doon papasok po yung automatic suspension. Pagdating naman po nung flooding or rain or heavy rains, they have a color code for that. Pag yellow, pag yellow po siya, it will be left again to the judgment of the local government official and the principals. Pero pag orange or red na yung rainfall signal ng Pag-asa o yung flooding signal nila is red, orange or red, automatic na yung suspension nun. So iba yung numbers nila sa color-coded nila. The
Right.
numbers would refer to the wind signal, the strength of the wind, while yung sa color coding nila is the rainfall
right.
and flooding.
Oo, kasi minsan yung thunderstorm lang pero grabe na, lakas na, dami ng binuhos na ulan, di ba po?
Yes, pero again, Angela, I think a good reminder to everyone talaga is that ito talaga ginawa ng DepEd is balancing between,
That's right.
of course, safety nung learner, teaching, non-teaching personnel, and of course, the academic progress of the child. So at one point, ang hirap rin talaga, kahit sa what we experience now, minsan may ulan dito sa Pasig, wala naman dun sa mga katabi namin
Right.
mga
Exactly,
syudad.
yeah.
So, again, these are guideposts given to us by the Department of Education. Pero I would also, of course, everything is based on common sense. So, kunyari, magulang ka or teacher ka or principal ka, of course, sometimes you have to tingnan mo rin yung nangyayari.
That's right.
And then that's when you make your own judgment.
That's why I'd like to clarify, Kong. No? For example, you said, no, kunyari, taga-Pasig ako, pero yung school ko nasa Manila, pero yung mga ibang classmates ko nakapasok, ako hindi because sa area ko umuulan. Am I, as a student who lives in the place na may malakas ang ulan, can I avail of that for that day, yung modality na yan, yung alternative learning, while the rest of my classmates are on site?
Well, yung modality will not be available kasi yung modality, kunyari in the school proper itself,
Yeah.
they can hold face-to-face classes. At alam natin, mas effective naman talaga. That class will continue. Ngayon, pag ikaw nakatira sa isang katabi ng barangay, kunyari, na wala naman masyadong ulan, umulan ng malakas, again, chances are hindi naman mag-shift yun kasi majority of the students would have to come from that area. So, yun. But then, if you read the whole department order that was released, meron rin po nakalagay doon that the school heads must present yung alternative learning plan nila in the event of hindi na cover ng mga guideposts na binigay nila.
Right.
And I think we would urge the principals to be able to include situations that you mentioned. Kasi hindi naman lahat mako-cover talaga
That's
ng
right.
department order, That's why meron silang isang section with respect to alternative learning system that can be introduced. May plan dapat yung bawat school. So I think that we will remind DepEd to remind also the school division offices to remind their principals to include situations that you described.
Kong, speaking of alternative learning modalities, can we also define this? Kasi what my concern is also yung mga nasa far-flung areas, no, in terms of their coping mechanisms, in terms of access of yung mga gadgets, internet. Kasi we all know naman sa far-flung areas, no, madalas wala nga po silang kuryente, internet access pa.
Angela, in fact, kahit dito sa Metro Manila, merong mga lugar na sa totoo lang, very spotty ang Wi-Fi.
That's
Yes.
right.
That's the truth. That is why, if you will notice sa department order nila, I guess gaining from the experience during COVID-19,
Pandemic.
meron silang dalawang modalities na, ito yung sinasabi nila that can be used. First is, of course, yung online. But that presupposes, as we discussed earlier, na may Wi-Fi, may gadgets. At of course, Wi-Fi, may connectivity talaga. But they also mentioned another alternative mode, and that is yung modular, which we also used during the pandemic. If you recall, ito yung mga set na written papers that were distributed to the families. Again, kunyari malakas yung ulan, bumabagyo. Talagang hindi naman ganun kasimple yun. That is why the department order also says that ngayon pa lang, in the beginning of the school year, dapat meron na talagang iba-ibang alternative plans. Paano rin mahatid yung mga alternative plans na ito. Because, again, common sense would also tell us, paano kung ang lakas ng bagyo? Walang electricity. So definitely, hindi pwede online. Paano naman pupunta yung estudyante sa school o yung magulang para kunin yung modules, di ba? So that is why it's a case-to-case thing. And the department order, again, advises each school to be able to discuss this internally already and to provide an alternative delivery plan, including how to deliver yung modules, just in case may something, a typhoon happens or flooding or heavy rains. Again, it recognizes the fact na we can't cover everything in one department order.
That's right.
One size does not fit all. So they are asking really for the help of each school to be able to propose a system.
Pero Kong, kasi I don't know if you've heard na yung ibang parents groups were saying na within the schools, no, kung empowered pa daw ang school mismo to decide. For example, in one class, let's sabihin na natin kasi from all walks of life ang mga students doon, no? Some have access to the internet, some wala. So for example, it calls for na alternative learning. Kung karamihan sa class ay pwede sa online, tapos may a few, 3 or 4% lang na hindi pwede ba mag-decide ang school na, yung tatlong yan, we will allow them to have their modules and their take-home. Yung natitira for online, sila mag-online. May ganyang power ba ang schools individually?
Yes, that is in fact included in that portion wherein each school must propose a plan, a system that they will use. So meron talaga kasi mga nuances Like what you said, that is possible. So the parents now should be able to tell their teachers, the principal, na all these different scenarios so that a plan can be provided by each individual school. And kaya naman yan to be also presented syempre sa schools division office natin.
Okay.
But that would fall under that the delivery plan system that they are supposed to propose to the schools divisions office.
Alright, Kong, taking this opportunity na rin to ask you po regarding what other plans po are you going to do in your committee on the 20th Congress, especially, of course, napakarami pong problema ng education system natin. We all know na we're facing functional illiteracy issues, yung mga teachers that are teaching subjects that they don't specialize in. What are your thoughts on that po?
Well, Angela, you hit it. You said it correctly. Maraming challenges, and you also gave us exactly what we want to prioritize. The most basic is really functional literacy. Tama ka, maraming challenges, but the priority should be on enabling each learner to have functional literacy. What is functional literacy, di ba? It's simply knowing how to read and understanding what one reads. It's really reading comprehension, and math. Grade level appropriate, and of course science also, no. And if we focus on these core competencies, first of all, we will be able to decongest the curriculum. By decongesting the curriculum, sa students lang, sa learners, we will be able to have them focus on yung basics, what they need to grow, what they need to really be able to study, what they are passionate about. Secondly, and equally important, it will allow our teachers some breathing space kasi lahat naman sila, 'di ba, when you study education, these are the basic things, yung functional literacy. Let everyone focus first on functional literacy because matalino naman ang batang Pilipino As long as they can read and comprehend what they are reading, they can go on using technology to further studies, to be able to research on matters that are interesting to them and not merely use technology for games.
That's right.
Yung sinisisi, pero sa totoo, because as evidenced by what you said, Angela, by the PSA, we have a functional literacy problem, and that is what should be corrected. That is the immediate concern, and so that is what we are hoping DepEd, and DepEd so far is going towards that direction already.
Kung I remember back in the day, I think sa mga 80s, no, I was subjected to this also. Yung mga SRA, yung skills reading activity, that was very effective, di ba?
Kaalaman ng edad,
Generation namin ni Kong yan. Hindi. Pero ang question daw, Kong, could this SRA building modules be uploaded into technology para kasi it was very effective. I remember a lot of teachers, even the old school teachers, are saying if we could integrate it into technology, baka we can touch on reading comprehension more.
Yes, in fact, Angelo, the past since the 18th Congress and this 19th Congress, I've been mentioning to the department and even to the secretaries about this SRA that I went through when I was in elementary.
Color-coded yun, Kong, di ba?
Color-coded yun, depending. And then, effectively, you also check your own papers eh. So
That's
it
right.
also promotes honesty eh. And then, sa totoo, nung una, meron mga hindi masyadong familiar eh. Pero right now, in fact, I think in some provinces, some local officials have already begun using the SRA type
Yes.
as already a tool to be able first to determine yung level of reading comprehension
That's right.
ng ilang learners. And also to tell you, because I've been asking about this since the last Congress, someone presented to me, in fact, an SRA version already in Tagalog. So lang, I'm
Okay.
telling that this is one thing that they should take a look at, because it is something that when I was growing up, sa totoo lang, you learn reading comprehension, and you don't get embarrassed if you have to
That's right.
hone up your skills
Tsaka
eh,
you
because
were you were challenged, Kong, di ba, to upgrade your color, orange, brown.
That's correct.
Oo.
And you can speed up, and you can speed up your SRA levels by yourself eh.
That's right.
Diba? So again, we've been mentioning this, and I'm thankful that you mentioned it again, because hopefully we will be able to remind the DepEd that this is really one important tool that they should really be considered. And I have a feeling, because local governments are already introducing it, I found out in some provinces. So maybe this is already, they have already begun doing it already.
But talking about Department of Education, Kong, we all know that recently po merong mga cases that are going to be filed against former DepEd officials regarding the 2.4 billion outdated laptops. I was wondering, is your committee also looking at the possibility of doing an investigation on this para po in the future hindi na maulit ito?
Ma'am Angela, in fact, even before this issue became known more publicly, or it came out in media, I think in 2023 or 2024, we already, and the committee already took a look at this issue, and we also investigated it already. And I think our records and what were submitted to the committee are all in Congress. So it's whatever was given to us, it's there. We have the minutes should be complete. We've asked DepEd to explain this in several committee meetings. That is why I'm happy that now it has been taken notice of. But we, in actuality, Angela, we already, before even anyone else was mentioned this, we already had committee meetings specifically on this particular contract.
Right. Apparently, we have a lot of questions for you, but we don't have much time. We hope to get you again next time. But for the meantime, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras sa Pasig City Representative Roman Romulo.
Thank you, Angelos. Thank you, Angela.
All right, President Bongbong Marcos recorded a significant increase in public trust according to the latest social weather station survey. Now, in the survey, the president's trust rating climbed to 48%, a 10% point jump from the previous month. Meanwhile, Vice President Sara Duterte maintained a high level of public trust, with her rating inching up from 60% in May to 61% in June. The survey was conducted in the last week of June amid heated discussions over the delayed impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte.
With no place to stay in the city, many child cancer patients from the provinces turn to a non-government organization that offers them a temporary home while they undergo treatment in Manila. Para bigyan ng mukha ang balita, Mobile Journal, Arles de los Santos.
80% ng mga pediatric cancer patients sa Pilipinas ang itinitigil ang kanilang pagpapagamot. Ang madalas na dahilan, kawalan ng budget at tirahan. Kaya ang isang NGO naisipang alalayan ang mga pasyenteng ganito ang sitwasyon, lalo pa ang mga galing sa malalayong lugar. Taong 2022 nang ma-diagnose sa sakit na basal acute lymphoblastic leukemia ang 9 taong gulang na si Sander. Dahil sa kakulangan ng espesyalista at ospital sa kanilang lugar, buwan-buwan, lumuluwas sila ng kanyang tiyahin mula Occidental Mindoro para makapagpagamot lamang sa Maynila. Masakit sa bulsa, nakakapagod, higit lalo sa batang may karamdaman.
Kasi hindi po siya pwedeng pabayaan. Naranasan din po namin dati yung matulog kami sa hallway ng hospital. Dahil walang bed na available sa hospital, hindi siya ma-admit. Kailangan naming umuwi, tapos kinabukasan babalik.
Pero gumaan ang lahat ng dahil sa Little Art Foundation, isang NGO na layong tulungan ang pagpapagamot ng mga batang cancer patient. Nagbibigay sila ng dignified housing kasama ang mga libreng pagkain at transport service, katuwang ang National Children's Hospital para maipagpatuloy ang pagpapagamot ng mga bata.
Ang gusto lang namin is to make sure na yung mga family that are going through yung mga cancers and other critical illnesses na they don't feel alone, na meron silang kasama while they're going through yung kanilang mga journey. Yung prioritization is first depende sa treatment and then second yung distance ng bahay.
Sa ngayon, 105 na batang pasyente na ang kanilang tinutulungan. Karamihan ng mga benepisyaryo galing pa sa malalayong lugar.
Little Ark, it's not just a house. You know, parang it's a community where people na going through the same cases, the same problems, the same hardships sa buhay na magkakasama kami dito na talagang it's cliche, di ba, na we're stronger together.
Kaya lubos ang pasasalamat ni Jennifer.
Natutulungan kami na malapit sa hospital, libre ang pagkain, libre ang transportation. Malaking kabawasan po yun sa gastusin namin.
Para sa mga nais tumulong at magbigay ng donasyon, maaaring makapag-ugnayan lamang sa mga numerong nasa inyong screens.
Strong Group Philippines leaned on a dominant second half to clinch a 79-67 win over the Japan developmental team in the 2025 William Jones Cup. Andre Robertson led the charge with 15 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 blocks, while DJ Fenner chipped in 14 points and 8 boards. The win pushed SGA's record to 2-0 following their opening day triumph over Chinese Taipei Blue. Strong Group returns to action today against the Qatar national team at 5 p.m. Bata pa ako, nanonood na ako ng Jones Cup na yung kasama ni Airpats eh.
Sige, edad mo si Kong Roman.
No, I think he's a little older, but SRA kasi was a I don't know yung mga ka-age namin would know that because hindi ka makakaalis ng grade school if makomplete mo yung color codes ng SRA. Just for context, ang SRA is called Skills Reading Activity. You grade yourself, so walang hiyaan sa teacher kung hindi mo makomprehend.
Skills Reading Activity.
And then you have to really understand binabasa mo. Kung hindi mo makukuha yung para ka nag-game sa phone mo, parang challenge mo sarili mo talaga.
Para per level.
It's really effective. Kasi ako pa, baba ng EQ ko. Pero dito talagang walang cheating. Pinursige ko yan. Hindi naman sa ganun yan. It's for everyone.
Anyway, happy birthday muna. Belated happy birthday kay MVP. Yesterday, birthday niya. Happy birthday po, Sir Manny V. Pangilinan. And of course, today,
Ma'am Jane.
Dalawa din sa importante dito sa atin, sa ating industriya, ang nagdidiwang ng kanilang kaarawan.
Ma'am Jane Basas, our big boss.
Sa
and of
media
course,
press,
our ninong.
Papu, Julius Babaw.
Sino si Papu daw? Si Julius Babaw po yan, Papu. Bata pa ako, Julius Babaw na yan eh.
Yeah, so belated happy birthday
sa inyo,
Sir MVP.
po.
And happy birthday, Julius Babaw. And of course, Ma'am Jane Basas.
Sana yung food?
Sana all.
Sana yung food nasa labas.
Baka naman.
Baka naman may pagkain. Anyway, that wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angelo Castro.
I'm Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
All sides, all the time.